Okay, this is gonna be another quick review. We're gonna review like all four of the Frogger games. First, we're gonna talk about the original one we already know about. Frogger came out in 1981, which is already nearly almost 40 years old. It's just plainly a frog that jumps side to side and make it to the very end of the stage. And that's pretty much it. There's a time limit, but be careful not to fall into the water. You know he's a frog. Like he'll he'll drown into his doom. And it's like what Kermit the Frog says. Have you ever heard of a frog that can't swim? This is all you do in this game. That's pretty much it. There's not much else to say, but if you get squashed or drowned that's all you do in this game. Frogger's been around for a very long time, but unfortunately has a little bit of franchise games. Not too much, apparently. This is pretty much all you do in the game. Just to hurry this up and make this less than a minute, we're going to talk about the different types of Froggers. And as you can tell, I've been shaven, and I look pretty handsome. But enough of that. We're going to talk about a few of the other Frogger games that were remade for different systems. And no, I will not prefer the Atari one, or the other ones its own systems. There's a Super Nintendo game, and there's not much of difference except for the graphics. This game came out in 1998 when Super Nintendo neared to its end to its final games, and they stopped making Super Nintendo games since 1998. Still plays basically the same, but I do like the game over screen where he holds up a sign that says ouch. Actually not given a care, like he's already used to it, that he's been doing it for a very long time. There's not much else to say about this one either. You just jump side to side, get to the very end before the timer runs out. This is pretty much the whole game. With no music playing, that's all you do. You might actually enjoy this, or not. This is all you do in the game. Not much else to say, so let's move on to the next one. Next is the PlayStation 1. And it's the first time we see Frogger in fully 3D. And this time, this one gets a little bit better. Or you get like high scores, different levels. Also, you still take one hit, you die. This time you have to explore the levels. I remember playing this at Shayna's house at one time. I remember playing Frogger for the very first time. And this one was on PlayStation 1 since the early 90s. This time this one has music playing. And this time Frogger actually can use his tongue to eat insects, like a frog should do. And again, there's not much else to say about this game either. Or let's get into the very end without getting squashed by cars and drowning. And this time you have to collect all your frog buddies, the different color types at the very end of the level. just jump on turtles, try to beat the time limit before it reaches down to 0. When I was a kid, I saw the commercial of it, and it looks pretty awesome. And I like how there's like the 3D model of Frogger on the cover on PlayStation 1. I was thinking, wow, is this game gonna be looking like that? Unfortunately not. This game came out in the early 90s. So basically some graphics like this weren't high quality enough for Frogger's design. Also, I don't get why Frogger has an orange stripe on his back. It does make sense in the original game, but the Super Nintendo one I showed you, it was plainly green. I kinda like him better when he's fully green colored. I get frogs had to be different colors. But I kinda like it better when he's fully green color. When I played the game like a year ago, oh, it's really hard. It's really difficult. Oh, because the platforms move really fast and you have to go real fast too. Pressing buttons, switches, jumping platform to platform. It's really difficult for me to get through the game without using cheat codes. And then find 1-ups are kind of hard to do. But still, you can find these so-called bonus stages to try to earn extra lives, all that stuff. Just to be truthful, I was not a huge fan of Frogger games until I played the Frogger 2, Lost 1. That's actually slightly better, but we'll get to that some other time. There's not much else of a story plot to this game. It's just a gameplay of you playing Frogger, getting to the very end of the stage. That's pretty much it. That's all you do in this game. Get to the end of the level. And then we finally get to its sequel. And no, I'm not referring to the one I just said. This one I'm actually talking about is Frogger 2, Swampy's Revenge. It's kind of confusing that they always make sequels. Those have the same number. But this one is from also PlayStation, and like every sequels, came out in the early 2000s. This time in this game, you finally get some interesting new characters. And Hasbro... Okay, then again, Hasbro did make pretty good games like Glover. And here's our main villains, Swampy. Remembers the times that Frogger could jump on his backside. And for some reason there's a poster that says Frogger 2, and he's on it, trying to eat Frogger. And now he's got to try to run him over. And there's a random boulder and a new character named Lily. Yes, that's her name. Frogger's girlfriend. This time, this one has a story plot. And you're basically Frogger doing the same thing all the time. Rescuing your frog friends and go to different levels here and there. And I can see they finally put some cutscenes in it, which is a good thing. So you can actually play a Frogger and Lily, but just like the last game, you still have to, okay, you do collect things like coins and all that stuff, but you still take one hit, you die. Still use your tongue and do your basic techniques. Just stop and wait and go forward. Heard in this game. And explore mazes and other levels. Avoiding enemies. Jump here, which you can actually do a high jump by pressing the X button. And since Frogger can finally do that, and jump high and stick toward the end of the levels. Not to mention everybody reviewed all the Frogger games. So I'm talking about all four of these games. The original one from 1981, the Super Nintendo one from 1998, the PlayStation 1 that's also a redesign, and from 1999, and this sequel from the early 2000s. Now I gotta admit, this is actually pretty cool. You're playing a frog that's riding a spaceship and getting extra lives and all that stuff. Now that's pretty awesome. Not to mention you have to explore some new interesting levels and still do the same old stick from every Frogger game you've been doing the past 20 years. You still have to avoid those bottomless pits, or you die and go all the way back from your checkpoint. And I hate to admit, I do love Frogger games. And what I don't like is taking one hit, you die, and you go back to the very beginning where you're at. But like every game, you can still save it. Even have mini games and multiplayers, which is actually not a bad idea. Which I almost forgot to mention, the first Frogger has multiplayers. There's getting to the race to the finish toward the end of the game. And even one of the mini games actually had the original Frogger in it. Now that's really awesome. Not to mention you defeat Swamp. I'll be the alligator, which is the only boss you fight at the very end of the game. And how it ends is perfecto. To wrap this review up as quickly as possible, Frogger, the first one from 1981, the arcade, deserves a 7 out of 10. 1998 Super Nintendo is an okay game if you're getting tired of it. It's not the best Super Nintendo game, but I give it a 5 out of 10. And the PlayStation 1 game, a 6 out of 10. You know, it does exactly the same thing. But at least this Frogger 2 is a little better than the first one. So this one deserves to have a 7 out of 10. No, 8 out of 10. To be a little bit better than the first one, because it has multiplayer in it. I'll get to the other Frogger games in the near future. So enjoy me. I'm glad you enjoyed me talk about all 4 Frogger games instead of one at a time. Been a long time since Frogger's been famous and all that stuff in all those games. So leave a like and subscribe to this video. See you around, mates.